Alright. Hello, losers. Today's gonna be a unique one. And I'm just gonna get straight to the point. Sports commentators. Okay, what do you need to do to be the GOAT? To be like the best of the best? What I think you need to do is mostly three things. One, when you talk, you have to talk about the actual sport itself. You can't go, oh, what about this? What about that? Go talk about another sport or go talk about this or that, because then it doesn't work as well. And then, because you got to keep that consistency. And then two, you got to not make pauses. What I mean by that is I see sports commentators nowadays, especially in sports like soccer, or if you're British, association football, but like they'll have a long pauses, like awfully long pauses, and like they don't commentate. Like there could be something that could happen, and then they just commentated a little bit. And then three, most importantly, when you commentate, you have to commentate about the game, because the one was, what I said earlier was about like, oh, you're talking about another sport. What I mean is it's like, oh, they're talking about when this player played in this time, or when this player was in their prime, that kind of thing, or when this person played, or when that person played. Like, motherfucker, I do not care. All I want to know is what's currently going on. Okay, that's it. That's all you really have to do. But yeah, that's basically sports commentators in a nutshell. Anyway, like you have to try to be more consistent, talk more about the game, and just generally be like if I were a guy who was in charge of having sports commentators, he would have to be, and I normally say he, not necessarily she. If it's a women's sport, then yeah, I would say she. But for men's sports, unless it's golf or something, which would kind of make sense. If it's for most men's sports, it wouldn't make much sense, outside of golf or tennis, and a few other sports. But when it comes to baseball, cricket, soccer, football, gridiron football, American football, basketball, basically Quidditch, or just any regular sport that relies on like a heavy fan base a little bit, like unihockey or something. Well, anyway, or I guess handball. You gotta understand, this kind of sports commentator I would want, the ideal guy every time, is someone who is a fan of the sport. The ideal person would be somebody who was born and raised into a family, like they're like a third or fourth generation born and raised, not just fan, but former sports player. Like they know all the rules. Like even though they're not current player, they just know all the rules. Like they just know, like that kind of thing. Two, like I said, they have to know the rules and stuff. Sorry, my dog was barking. Looking at me. Anyway. Two, they have to be engaged. Like they have to sound like they've been into it for a while. Like they know what they're talking about when they say it. That kind of thing. And three, they have to have a specific kind of voice. And what I mean by that is they have to have a voice that is specific for that sport. So whatever a average sports commentator or like a really, really good sports commentator for that sport would sound like, or if they don't have one and they're, I don't know, a very new sport, or if they're just discovering sports commentary within that sport, I would say get somebody who's like TV and radio ready, but mostly just like radio ready, you know? Because we need those kind of commentators. Because even though it's not radio, I still want to know what's going on while it's happening when you're a sports commentator. And you might go, well, why do you need sports commentator if you can just watch it? Well, here's the thing, dude. Yeah, I might see what's going on, but then all of a sudden, like, what's going to happen when your favorite team wins, you know? It's like, you don't really feel the vibe when your favorite team wins when it does that. Whereas with a sports commentator, if they tell you, oh, Chucky McCheeseball just won in Nuke Ball for the Lucre Cup of the World Champions. You know, they are the best of the best. They finally won their first ever game in their entire team's history. It's the biggest event in the world. You know, like, you want that kind of thing because it makes you feel like you truly won. You know? Like, that kind of thing. Like, that's how it is. Like, that's how it should be for sports commentary. It's not, especially in more mainstream sports, but still, it's like, that really would be the ideal, you know? Well, anyway, let me know what you think if you have an opinion, I guess, or if you want to have an opinion. No, nobody's forcing you here, probably. Anyway, have a nice day, I guess. And just remember, stay ugly.